helping Japan and then sending wonderful messages to the Japanese children.
Okay, it's not me, but your Turkish sisters and brothers who prepared all the messages and paintings. And thank you for coming and for interviewing me. It's a pleasure.
When has the relationship between Turkey and Japan started?
The Turkish and Japanese people share the same land in modern-day Mongolia, Siberia. But this was like 3,000-4,000 years ago. So Turkish is among the closest relatives of Japanese language. So it's very similar and it's very easy to learn. But when we come to the modern time, when we talk about Turkish and Japanese relations, we go back to 19th century. During the 19th century, Turkey was part of the Ottoman Empire, that major restoration in Japan. This is late 19th century. So those times Turkey was, as an Eastern nation, Turks, we were trying to modernize, and Japan was also trying to modernize itself. So in 1880s, the Japanese emperor, the major emperor, got interested about Turkey, and he sent some of his royal family members, some princes, to Turkey. So they came to Istanbul and visited the Ottoman palace, and they were very well treated. And the Ottoman Sultan is the Turkish king. At that time, Abdülhamid, he was interested in Japan, most probably because Turkey is located in the very western part of Asia, and Japan is on the eastern part of Asia. At the time, both were kind of having problems with Russia, the Russian Empire, because Russia was growing big and invading the Turkish territories, but also it was a problem for Japan. So the Ottoman Emperor, probably the emperor, the Sultan, wanted to have some kind of maybe alliance against Russia with Japan. And also he wanted to know about Japanese modernization. He was impressed from the books he read. So in 1889, he sent a big military ship, a warship. The name is Ertugrul. He sent this ship from Istanbul in 1889 to Japan as a friendly visit. So the ship crossed from the Suez Canal, Indian Ocean, reached Singapore, Shanghai, and then came to Yokohama in 1890. So 122 years ago. Came to Yokohama, and there were more than 600, 700 crew, seamen. They visited the palace in Edo, Tokyo. They gave the gifts to the emperor and to his aides. And after being well received by Japan, after a few months back, they wanted to go back to Turkey with the return trip. But the problem is, when they were coming back from Yokohama to Turkey on the way back, just after they left Yokohama, in modern-day Kushimoto, near Wakayama, the southern tip of Honshu, there was a typhoon. So the ship, due to the typhoon, hit the rocks and crashed. And there was a big accident. Of all more than 600 sailors, around 500 of them died at this place, near Kushimoto. Around 100 of them, more than 100 of them, they either swam or they were rescued by the local Japanese fishermen and villagers. So they were treated well there for treatment. And after their treatment, Japan, by another ship, the Japanese emperor sent all these Turkish seamen back to Turkey. But of course it was a very tragic event, because a very big important Turkish ship on a friendly mission sank off Japan. So this created an atmosphere of friendship between the Turkish people and the Japanese people 120 years ago. News reached to Turkey that the remainder people, these soldiers, these navy men, were treated very well by the Japanese, and their lives were saved. So there was very positive sentiment in Turkey about Japan, also in Japan about Turkey. There was a monument erected in Wakayama for this tragic accident. And we remember that day as the beginning of Turkish-Japanese friendship. And in every 5 years, bigger events, we have commemoration ceremonies held in Wakayama. So this is the historical aspect. But then the Ottoman Empire, it was an empire. It collapsed after First World War I. the Republic of Turkey under the founder Kemal Atatürk. You see the photo here. He founded the modern Turkey in 1923, and in 1924 we had the diplomatic relations between the new Turkey and Japan. So that also has been almost 90 years. But symbolically we take 1890 as our start of our modern friendship.
I've read your book, The Bridge of Love, and I was touched how the Turkish people were very nice to the Japanese people. And how do the schools in Turkey teach the children about Japan?
In the Turkish textbooks of school children of your age, they learn about Japan. Of course, they learn about this. They learn that in the let's say in the literature or grammar, they learn that Turkish and Japanese languages are similar. They are from the same language group. And in the history books, they learn about this accident, this Ertugrul ship, which sank off Wakayama, and they learn about this friendship. But historically, these are what we learn. But apart from them, of course, in Turkey, Japan is known with two things. It's keeping its traditional values and also being modern at the same time. So in Turkey, since maybe 100 years, Japan has been kind of a role model. Because we are also, after all, we are an Asian nation. For us, like Japan, family is important. We don't go into the house with the shoes, likewise. So we have similar traditions. So in Turkey, in the books, Japan is given as an example to the Turkish school children, how to keep your own identity, how to keep your own tradition, but also modernize at the same time. And of course we learn about the Japanese technology in electronics, in computer science, and related fields. We learn about Japanese technology.
How do you think that the future relationship between Turkey and Japan should be?
Of course, we have to say there is a distance between us. I mean, when you look at the map, we are both in maybe Asia. Turkey is partly in Europe, but we are on the westernmost part of Asia. You are on the easternmost part of Asia. So even by flight, it's 12 hours by flight. But now, of course, in the times of globalization, things are much easier. Of course, now we have political aspect. Politically, we don't have any problem. We have perfect relations with Japan. And the other two are, I think it's more important, they are people-to-people relations. One is economics and trade, and other is culture. So I hope and we believe in Turkey and also in Japan, I know that Japanese politicians, they also think likewise. We wish to bring our relations in culture and in economy to a better level. We have good trade relations, but we want to make it more. We would like more Japanese investment in Turkey and more trade and more Turkish imports to Japan as well. And culture, we would like people to know each other more. In 2003, it was declared as Turkey Year in Japan. In 2003, there were big events in Japan about Turkey. And 2010, 2 years ago, it was declared as the Japan Year in Turkey. So all over Turkey there were events about Japan and introducing Japanese people, Japanese culture. So I think we should bring the people more closer to each other. More flights. Now we have flights every day from Istanbul to Osaka and also Tokyo. But there will be probably more flights soon. So more Turkish people will come to Tokyo and Japan, and more Japanese people will come to Turkey. Turkey is already a big holiday destination. It's number 6 in the world. More than 30 million tourists come to Turkey every year, and around 250,000 Japanese tourists come to Turkey annually every year. We would like them to come more and to visit our beautiful country, and we would also like more Turkish people to come and visit Japan. That's how I think the people will, as the people get to know each other better, our future will be more connected and we'll have a common future. Yes. I can also tell you about why Turkey has been historically friendly to Japan. Why? I mean, in Turkey, there are some polls, like they ask Turkish people, which nations do you like most? And always, Japan is always in the top 3. Even I was reading today the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs webpage. There's a report about Turkey. There it says the Turkish people are very Japanese friendly. Turkish scholars, students, they have thought Japan as a good model. So in the past 100 years, all the Turkish intellectuals, an Asian country, which kept its culture, traditions, but also modernized very fast and industrialized. So we see it as a success story. Turkey is also doing well. It's one of the growing economies in the world, now 16th in the world, has the highest growth rate almost in the world, in the top three. So we see Japan as a model, and I hope our both countries' futures are very bright.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.